Today we're going to talk about the absolutely beautiful Koh Gen Do Aqua foundation. This was actually a recommendation from one of you, and you told me what shade to get. It was your holy grail foundation, and so I bought this online, and you know what? This is ridiculously beautiful. So let's get into this video. I'm gonna do a full review as well as a wear test to show you how this wears. And I'm so happy for this recommendation because the shade is really spot on. It's 143. Now it is a teeny tiny bit light for me right now just because I'm a little bit tan, but other than that, this shade is really spot on for me. I've been wearing this foundation I've had this foundation for some time now, but I've really been consistently wearing it for about the last 3 weeks, and I have been enjoying it immensely. By the way, if you want to know what's on my face, make sure to check the description box. I've got the timestamps there as well as all my makeup details. Now let's just jump into application and we'll talk about this foundation. I have color corrected just using Live Tinted in the shade Rise. And now I'm gonna go ahead and just shake this foundation bottle a little bit and apply that all over the face. So what I've been really loving with this foundation is you can apply it however you like. This is a very forgiving formulation. So what I do is I generally apply it on my face. So I'm going to just apply a little bit to show you. Then I'm going to take this very small brush. This is Spectrum from Katie Hughes collab in number 08. This is a synthetic brush. You can see what that looks like. And I'm just going to buff it in with this brush. And in just very light circular motions. And the foundation will spread and blend in very, very beautifully. Check that out. I've noticed that I also end up doing a very sheer application like this. I mean, that looks so beautiful and skin-like. It doesn't even look like I have foundation on, and yet it has perfected my skin. The foundation is very lightweight. It has a beautiful skin-like texture, and it looks really, really stunning. Normal skin and then foundation, you can see it looks so much better, but it doesn't look like I'm wearing foundation. I love that. So now I'm going to go ahead and kind of do the same for the rest of my face. So you can see when it's on my finger, the foundation is moving, and that's because it has such a fluid texture, which is why this foundation application technique works really well. Another great thing with this foundation is that you can take your time and blend. You don't have to rush your blending because the foundation isn't just going to set on you and then, you know, it can't budge. There's nothing like that. You can just take your time and blend it out. So even though I've applied this in sections of my face, you can kind of dot it all over your face and then go ahead and blend. There's no problem with that. I also love this brush. I mean, it just applies foundation so well. You can either do buffing motions or you can just spread it out like this. I've got the rest of my makeup on, and this is what the foundation looks right now. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. And I did only build this up to medium coverage. You can go a little bit more in terms of coverage, but this is not a full coverage foundation. You're not gonna get absolute coverage. I just love how this foundation looks. This also hasn't broken me out. That's quite crucial for my skin. I don't want to be using products that obviously are going to break me out, so I have not had that issue. In terms of the ingredient list, I'm really happy to see this doesn't have any alcohol or fragrance. That is normally what I generally look for. I'm okay if foundations have fragrance. If they have alcohol that's really high up on the ingredient list, I like to stay away from those as much as possible. Of course, not everything will break me out. For example, my Dior foundation does have alcohol, but it doesn't break me out, nor does it irritate my skin. Whereas, for example, something like the McGrath foundation that really irritated my skin, and that has alcohol. So I always like to tell you guys whether a formulation has alcohol or not. It's really up to you whether that certain formulation will be irritating or it will break you out or not. Irrespective whether a formula has alcohol or it doesn't, I do think it's the way it's formulated can sometimes have that effect. So I'm really happy that this does not break me out. It does not have alcohol. It doesn't have fragrance. I'm very happy about that. Now, if you wanted to wear this under a mask, make sure you set with a powder because it will transfer a little bit. So I'm touching my skin at the moment and it doesn't feel tacky. It feels like the foundation has set down. Like I've got no powder here and I can touch my skin and my skin feels okay. It doesn't feel tacky, which a lot of the dewy foundations can do. They can make your skin feel very tacky and everything can stick to it. I'm happy to say that although this is a slightly dewy formulation, it doesn't feel tacky. It does actually set down, which is fantastic. Now, let's just move on to the wear test. I'll show you what my skin looks like after wearing this foundation for a whole day, and then we'll quickly chat about how it settles into fine lines. Hey guys, it's been 8 hours and I have dimmed my lights so you can see what the foundation looks like after 8 hours of wear. It looks completely intact. Of course, I have gotten shiny around here and my forehead. Just letting you know, I am experiencing breakouts, which is why I'm not having a good skin day today. However, these breakouts are not related to this foundation at all. And also in terms of settling into fine lines, you can kind of see that it's really minimal. And also in terms of my oil production, it's actually not so bad. So I have combination skin, which means that I'm oily around my cheeks and my forehead. And I do think this foundation, although leans a little bit dewy, it doesn't make me excessively oily. So the oils I had before were kind of perfectly acceptable, especially after 8 hours, and I haven't applied powder or even blotted. And after blotting, it just looks so much better, of course. So in terms of longevity, it's perfection. Perhaps there's a little bit of fading, but honestly, most of this foundation still looks really good at the end of the day. For combo skin, if you have oily skin, you might just need to apply some powder during midday or of course blot, but other than that, it holds up really well. So in summary, this is a beautiful, natural, almost a skin-like, slightly dewy foundation. It's not sticky, it does set down, so even my hair doesn't necessarily attach to it, which is fantastic. In terms of coverage, it is buildable, but really up to medium plus coverage. I don't think you can get any more coverage after medium plus. It's easy to apply, easy to blend, as you saw earlier. Also, I haven't had any issues in terms of layering other products on top. I've used cream blushes, cream bronzes, powder blushes. So both cream and powder products really apply beautifully without any patchiness or lifting. It doesn't exacerbate my texture. Even when I do have really dry, flaky skin, it doesn't look bad or overly obvious. It doesn't excessively settle into fine lines either. I mean, you can see that. And in terms of oiliness, I think it also looks really good, especially for someone like me who's combo skin, this being a slightly dewy foundation. I would have thought this would have looked even more dewy on me as the day progresses, but it really stays okay, and especially after blotting, I don't really even feel the need to add any powder. So overall, I am very happy with this foundation. It is 10 out of 10. The only con with this foundation is really just the shade range. I wish they would extend that shade range because the foundation itself is incredibly beautiful. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and I will see you guys in my next one. See ya.